Welcome to the Sugar Freedom Kitchen. I'm Catherine Gordon. Today's topic is a carnivore diet plan from 1961. I know it's hard to believe. I went carnivore for the first time in about March of 2018. Committed to it more strongly a few months ago, and now I'm pretty much completely committed to it. Here we are, January of 2020. So what plan am I going to use? I am going to use this plan that comes from a book called Strong Medicine by Dr. Blake Donaldson. And this book was written in 1961 and published in 1962. It's available as a free PDF, and that's probably one of the most important things I can tell you in this video today. You can get this program for free, read the whole thing yourself, and see if it appeals to you. The place where you get the PDF, where I got the PDF was, and of course I'll put a link in the description, justmeet.co/docs/strong-medicine-blake-donaldson PDF. Of course, that's going to be a lot more clear when you see the link that's in the description. So it was completely free to download. However, I am going to add another link. You can buy a copy of this. They've republished it. It's available at Amazon.com, and I'll go ahead and put a link in it, and that link will be my associate's link. Note that I believe that the issue that they're selling at Amazon.com for the paperback is running around $21. If you want, you can simply get it for free. Where I want to begin is, and I created this channel, is because I lost a lot of weight and I've kept it off for coming on a dozen years now. And I believe that we receive what we want for others, that what we give out, that's what we give back. So I want to continue to share the techniques that I use to overcome obesity, what I needed to learn, and what I've needed to learn to keep the weight off even after age 50 and after menopause, which is why I am sharing with you Strong Medicine. So the biggest question when I went carnivore was, how much do I eat? What do I eat? And how much do I eat? And even though I'm eating essentially meat and drinking water, how much can I have? Is it unlimited? What's going on? And this is one of the most important questions that Dr. Donaldson answers, is that he actually comes out and tells us in his recommendations for his different clients. He tells us how much to eat. And the foundation of the Strong Medicine plan, which is meat and water and a little bit of coffee, is that you're going to eat half a pound of meat, fat meat, 3 times a day. So in terms of ounces, you're going to be having 8 times 3 is 24. So that's 24 ounces over the course of the day. Now, if you are naturally intermittent fasting the way I am, I naturally just want 2 meals a day. You might split that up differently. Here's the fantastic thing about this concept, though, from Dr. Donaldson, is that the foundation is a half a pound of fat meat 3 times a day. But if you get hungry, you eat more. Let me talk to you about what I mean by and what he meant by fat meat. He meant, I assume, fatty meat. I've read the book twice now, and this was my understanding. And the way that he managed that was, he would say, all right, then you can get a steak or lamb chops or pork chops or whatever it is, and you're going to weigh. What I do is I get a cut of meat that's known to have fat, for example, a T-bone, which is what I'm going to show you right now, and I go ahead and weigh 8 ounces of it. Now, would you like to know what 8 ounces of T-bone looks like? There it is. I weighed it, that it is marbled enough to be giving me 6 ounces of lean and about 2 ounces of fat. Now, the whole, when I cooked like 24 ounces this morning, it filled an entire dinner plate like this. So that 24 ounces, a dinner plate full, cut off of the bone, so I wasn't weighing the bone. And then 8 ounces, this luncheon plate full. That is plenty of meat. And I tell you, I had this for breakfast, and it is 12:50, and I'm not hungry. But when I'm done with this video, I'm probably going to have an appetite, and I'm probably going to go ahead and eat that. I mean, the beauty of this is, if you're like me and your problem, my problem, since I was 6 years old, was constant hunger, the inability to get satisfied on a conventional diet. And the only way I could get satisfied was essentially with meat and eggs. The glory of this is that if this doesn't satisfy you, you can go ahead and have more. When you get the PDF or buy the book, you will read many different stories about different ailments that were managed with this by this strong medicine diet, which was fat meat, water, and a little bit of coffee with no sugar and no cream. One thing I do want to tell you is that this was written in 1961. Dr. Donaldson, he actually served as a doctor in World War I. So that gives you an idea about how old this gentleman was, what generation he came from. Some of the language, some of the attitudes are not going to be highly contemporary, shall we say. So be prepared for some things that he writes that might raise your eyebrows a little bit. But just go ahead, bear with it, take what works, leave what doesn't. I want you, though, to get this free information so that you can assess it for yourself and see that, for heaven's sake, a meat and water diet has been around in this country in published form since 1961. So you can take a look at this and say, do I agree with what Dr. Donaldson is saying, or don't I? And I think one of the things that we need as people who are doing a meat and water protocol in order to lose weight, improve our health, or all of the other things that he talks about in this book, that we need our doctors and our researchers and our nurses, our medical professionals, nutritionists. We need them to understand that we are committed to science, we are committed to telling the truth, and that this is what we're doing and that it is working, and that other medical doctors over time have used this kind of procedure to help people. Now, I want to mention Dr. Sean Baker and Dr. Saladino and other people that I have come to know through YouTube and understand that, my goodness, they're doing this meat-based diet and it's helping them. I want to acknowledge the medical doctors who are in the thick of this right now, some of them receiving pushback. The first chapters do talk about his history and his background, but then he goes into, so important, Chapter 5, the causes of obesity. 6, heart disease. 7, osteoarthritis. 8, diabetes. 9, hardening of the arteries. 10, high blood pressure. 11, gallstones. 12, allergies. And one of my favorites, 13, I feel sick all over. This is an amazing book, finishing with food, good, bad, and indifferent, and the simple life. I hope that you will get it and that you will read it and decide for yourself. I do want to share with you, though, in this chapter, The Causes of Obesity, what he says to the woman who comes to him for help. All right, quote, "You are going to have to burn your own fat off in the flame of fat meat. You have 5 potent enemies, equal in strength. They are: 1, the failure to walk 30 minutes without stopping before breakfast unless it is raining or snowing at that time. 2, flour. 3, salt. 4, sugar. And 5, alcohol." I want to talk about, he mentions salt, and of course alcohol I gave up a number of years ago. The one thing that I don't really agree on, and I think maybe off a little bit in this, is I do find salt helpful. One of the times I really found salt helpful was when I initially got off of sugar and flour. And oh boy, does he talk about how sugar and flour are the devil when it comes to health and staying lean and staying healthy. The reality is, though, is that I found that salt was helpful in breaking the addiction to sugar, in getting off of sugar. When I got off of sugar and flour, I had what we sometimes call the Atkins flu, and I did find that chicken broth or bouillon or some extra salt was helpful with that. So I just want to warn you, he does not recommend salt. He recommends cutting salt. There's something else I want to tell you too, though, is what to do after the patient has lost the weight, because this patient came to him for help with obesity. Here is the protocol, that when you reach your goal weight, you try to eat 4 different foods. And generally what he was adding back would be a simple potato without butter, a simple fruit, and well, that's 3. So a potato and a fruit, and I'm trying to think what else. You certainly, though, you would not add back any kind of flour or wheat, or you wouldn't be adding back sugar. except in the form of trying that fruit. So here's the idea. If it didn't work, if your hunger came back and you started to gain weight, you would need to go another 5 pounds down. So the concept was, and I absolutely agree with this, is that there is something about reaching goal weight that appears to allow the body to manage some other foods. Now, this might not be you. You might be strict carnivore and you're going to stay carnivore for years. There are those who've done it. But this is for people who might be considering, I want to use this protocol to become healthy, and is there a possibility that once I do get to a healthy weight, or once the problems I'm dealing with are resolved, can I add some foods back in? Dr. Blake Donaldson, back in 1961 when he wrote it in 1962, he would say, yes, we're going to add some foods back in and we're going to see how you respond to them. So that might be you. That might be what you're going to try. For me, I am trying this protocol just to get a little bit more comfortable in my clothing, comfortable on camera. I continue to act, sing, and dance. One of the things about the dance that I'm doing is that if I lean out a little bit more, it does make it easier for me to dance. So that's one of the reasons that I'm doing it. There it is. I'm going to leave you with that. I think it's really important. I hope that you will get the PDF. Once again, be aware there's going to be things that you don't agree with. There's things I don't agree with. But it's so amazing to have this resource of a doctor who helped all of these people with meat and water.